So it's been 40 hours since the theme was announced, leaving us 8 hours left for the competition. And there are lots of people that have finished up already and posting links to their games. Happy to say that I'm pretty much finally there myself. I had a bit of a panic a couple of hours ago when I started thinking about assets and wondering if I was going to get everything I wanted into the game and get it out there. It's been going well. So with 8 hours to play with and an almost finished project, I can finally sit back and relax and do all that kind of asset creation that I was talking about before. I finally settled on 3 of the enemy ships. That one's my absolute favourite. I really dig that. It's so simple, yet it just seems really cool. I could probably give it a spinning effect, but when you're running around in the maze, it's in the maze on the grid, it works fine on its own. The one that's the same shape as the player stayed in, and this guy I just recolored him, and I decided that he worked quite well too. The lampshade did not make the cut. Was not suitable. I just didn't like it. Yeah. It gives the right impression from the side, but from the top it's just like a doorbell or something. It just wasn't working for me, so I'll let that one go. So yeah, all the models are in, and all the sounds are in too. Like I said, there's just one key feature that I've yet to put in, and I'm actually relaxed about that. I can sit back and even spend an hour doing that and have no stress at all. So let's see what I've got. Now I've got my speakers on, so you might be able to hear the sounds, but I have turned them down a bit, just so they don't blast the eardrums of the people that turn it on. So I've made sure they weren't all set at 1. They're all about 1.5 to 1.7. I haven't put any music in as such. I was thinking about it, but I've gone, no, it's minimalist. And so I've created an ambient track. I've gotten some sounds out of my old keyboard, plugged into the computer, and like I said, with this program that's freely available on the web, I've stretched the sounds out over 3.5 minutes, and it's created these amazing spacescapey ambient sounds. And then I've used Audacity, and I've mixed up a few different sounds that are layered on top of each other. Again, just using my Yamaha keyboard and stretching the sound out. So you probably can't hear that, but there's a bit of going on in the background. So let's get into the game. So here we are. You may notice there is a very slight angle in the perspective. I tilted the camera by 4 degrees. I'll get back to that in a moment. The processes of me trying to lay out aesthetics and that. And you probably can't hear the 3D sounds too. But it's actually brought it all together quite nicely to be able to hear where the bullets are coming from. It gives you, even when they're off a screen, it gives you a sense of what's going on. Now, because the player's moving when he explodes, sometimes the explosion sound falls to the left or the right, but it's still there, it's prominent, and it's bigger than the other sounds, and it lets you know that, yeah, something bad's happened. So we're just running around, playing some things. I don't know how many different... there he is. My favourite got me. Okay, let's see if we can see all 3 enemies out there. Wave 1, gosh. And I was even thinking of turning up the speed, but I don't think turning up the speed is necessary. Oh, that was a terrible run. Absolutely shocking. Game over. It's a very basic, I think I called them 16-bit. They're probably 8-bit sounds. I called them 16-bit before from the SFXR. I didn't use the BFXR, that's the online and you download it. I've had SFXR on the keyboard, on the computer for ages. I can't believe how badly I'm playing this. Yeah, so it's all there. Like I said, I can spam. Those bullet sounds, as they're leaving me, they're 3-dimensional. You can hear them which way they're flying, even though they're a short sound. They just travel far enough away from the player ship that you get a sense of their direction too. But it really helps having the bullets make the noise, so that you know what's, even if they're off screen, you know, kind of get an idea where it's going to come from. Wait, yeah, score 0. That was all those bullets I shot. See, brought my score right down into the negatives. Wow, it's amazing. I just defragged the computer, but I still haven't turned it off because I've got audio feeds going, and I'm still watching Quill 18 and this other excellent bloke. Was it DuskGolem? Something like that. He was, oh, I don't think I would have made it without his feed. Just him working away on his Playmaker. Not the Playmaker, it was Score Zero. Yeah, I'll go on about him later, but yeah, no, it was really nice to have some video feeds to work along with, so it didn't actually feel like you're doing it on your own. Especially Quill 18's, because he's typing away furiously and I'm typing away furiously. And got like this chorus of keyboard keys being smashed and tapped. Alright, so I tried a few different kind of things. Yeah, I rebuilt the prefabs. I think you saw that. And then this is when the models started coming into it. I think this, yeah, a lot of these will break because I haven't built them to work. This has got the slight tilt. Yeah, this is the one I come back to, and I tilted the camera just 4 degrees off the vertical. And there's a perspective trial where it is actually like you can see on that above screen. If I just get it started, I really tried to scope it out a bit, but yeah, there is code that I put in to reposition the camera so that the player was in the middle of the screen. I won't bother going and uncommenting all that. I think this just shows enough what I was trying to get at. The perspective kind of works, but then I felt a bit funny with the bullets, especially if I'm going the other way. Yeah, when the camera's fixed, it's in the center and it works like normal. But it gave a funny feeling to the aiming, so I wanted to try and bring it back. Okay, now there's a groovy knobbly ship. What about the other guys? Now I can hear you now. That makes all the difference. That's this one's still got the lampshade in there. Okay, there's a lampshade. There's the rogue. Yep, I was expecting things because, like I said, I haven't set up these scenes, but that was just another muck around that I was doing with tweaking and checking out the angles. I mean, it looks like it would be fine. It does put some 3D into it. I also did this because I was trying different shaders. I did have a go at the Toon shader on the Unity wiki, and it did some strange things. I might even demonstrate that in a minute. Very slight perspective, and yeah, this is the one I sat with. You can barely see it, but even if I've gone too far across. There we go. It just shows you there's a slight angle to it as you move along. And so with all the tweaks and modifications and changes to the enemy ships and adding the ambient noise and all the other sounds, this is pretty much going to be the game scene. I'll clean it up, rename it. Then I've got to go through all my scripts, delete all the comments and things like that. But apart from that, I actually feel like I've done it. It's not an excellent game, but it is an arcadey kind of thing. You know, if you want to sit and shoot things, it's alright for that. I'm not going to dwell on the fact that I could have built something else, especially with 7.5 hours remaining. But yeah, no, it's all done well. So I've got one more essential item that I want to add. And then after that, I might look at seeing if I can muck around with shaders. But before that, I might go back to Blender and start playing around with the models again. See if I can get some different kind of spaceship things happening now. There's no time restriction, or I don't feel that like working on assets or spending time in Blender is going to stop me finishing the project because it's there now. It is pretty much there. Yeah, the player manager script has turned into a bit of a beast because it's essentially the game manager as well as the player manager. It runs a state of game over, win, lose, all those sounds, sorts out the high score. That's just a lot of get component to make sure that nothing breaks when it starts, but everything's assigned in the inspector. Moving the player around, that was all original. There's the camera. Like I said, there was what I was saying. I had the top-down setup, and the perspective setup where I had to bring the position Z on the camera back to keep the player in the center of the screen. And even at that 4 degrees adjustment, I had to bring the lerp up because it was starting to lag behind. So if you turned around, whichever direction you started traveling in was the shortest amount of view that you had. So I had to bring the lerp speed up so that it would pretty much keep the player constant. A lot of mucking around with the audio and that, trying to get the right configurations. For a long time there, it took me a while to realise that, yeah, my player manager is static. It just sits in the corner there all by itself. And I was wondering when I was shooting the bullets why they were all coming out of the right speaker, because it's the player object that should have had the audio listener. So it took me a while to realise what I was doing wrong there. But yeah, no, I'm a bit relieved. I'm not yeah. I suppose I'm happy, but I'm more relieved than happy that I do have something and I fulfilled what I said I'd do at the very first video and make a game and enter this competition. It's no winner, but I was in it. Yeah, pretty awesome stuff. It also really brings to the forefront the difference between making a bunch of prototypes and actually building a game from start to finish and polishing it. I've read before that one day of prototyping is worth 1 week of polishing a game. Like if you build something, with primitives and that, and you get it working, but then you want to add models, animations, audio, textures, all that kind of thing, then yeah, just multiply it by 7 days. If you took a week to do something, it's going to take 7 weeks to make a full finished project. The 2 in 1 there. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to show you that I've made it, and it'll soon be out there. I am going to add one more thing. I'm not going to let on too much, but if you've seen the other videos, you know that there's something that I haven't really talked about since I got up this morning, and that's going in there. And what it's going to do is a bit of a mystery too. So I just want to leave that to people that do play the game and just get a little bit of a surprise, so it's not a complete 100% spoiler. So yeah, that's about the crutch of it. When the game is fully finished, and if I do get some assets, I'll probably upload it around about 9 AM. So that's in what, 4.5 hours. So that gives me 4.5 hours to play around in Blender, see if I can't come up with any kind of better models, that kind of thing. Finally, what was the enemy object 4 didn't make the cut, so let's play around with this guy here. I'll just show you the toon shader I got from the Unity Wiki, and it just didn't do what I was desiring. If you ever seen the cartoon Tron Uprising, I wanted that kind of cell shading, like Borderlands. The Borderlands does have thick black outlines. I wanted something that was cell shaded, but didn't really had like a pencil black outline, because my background's all black and that kind of thing anyway. So what did I have this set to? I think I pushed it forward 60 and it was 160. That could quite easily be 300 and 340, couldn't it? No, I've got the maths wrong there. Okay, so it's 60 and 160. Okay, so what happened with this toon shader? Alright, so we've got this guy here. He probably doesn't need his audio source. Let's get that out of the picture. He's not in the game. Okay, so we've got 2 items here, and even if you watch that very quickly, and I'll go to the toon, and then bang, you see it pretty much washed everything out. I don't see any kind of contrast that I was expecting, like having an absolute white, but then having a firm grey. I suppose even, again, see, looking at the side, just like when this kind of shape works, you do get that toon shader effect there, but from the top it just came washed out. It just didn't work, it didn't do the job at all. So you can see there, it just washed out everything. And let's whack it on the side as well. And then you'll really see it when it affects the colour. Bang. So that's what I'm talking about. It kind of worked, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. I could kind of get the effect I got. Look, that's already down to 1.5. See, in the original scene it was set to 1. There you go. There's the washed out. I wasn't making it up. It really was washed out. And why did that come to? Yeah, probably because that was the last setting I tried when I put something in. When you bring the directional light down, you did start to get some of the toon shader effect. So, I mean, it is a good shader, and probably in the right applications, it'd be nice. I mean, look at the sheen on that. I mean, that's glorious. But not for a top-down shooter. So I stuck to good old diffuse. Good enough for the job. As I say, I've got 4.5 hours now to finally play around with this stuff and relax and do what I originally wanted to do at the start. Build the engine, get the project working, get it all settled, iron out all the kinks, make sure everything's working and it's not breaking, and I've tried every situation, trying to kill myself here and stay alive there, and I've also turned things down and run through all the waves. So when you get to, if anyone actually makes it to wave 5 and finishes wave 5, which I highly doubt, then it just keeps repeating that wave. It doesn't go into array out of range error of taking care of all those things, as you should do. So yeah, no, actually I should be happy. I'm just more relieved, but I am happy that I've ironed out the bugs, and I'm pretty confident that this is a bug-free build. It should be. It's quite a simple game. So there we have it. That's been the journey. That's what it's been all about. And I kind of can't wait for my next game jam, actually. This has been really fun. And give me lots to think about in the meantime, and I think I'll be going back and visiting some of the things that I prototyped and start looking at them in a different light and go, okay, well, what if I wanted to make this a polished professional kind of, well, not professional, but polished, you know, taken to completion. Something that actually works, and that's there. I don't think I set that off full screen, did I? Let's have a quick play, see if I can survive a little longer, just before I sign off. See, I heard that over to the right already. Yeah, I should have called it before the bullet came up. Yeah. Hey, this isn't gonna. This is not gonna take them long at all. Actually, did I muck it? I did. I put the shader. That's why. Yeah. See, the silver is coming up like that because I just did the shader in the other one, and it's kept the shader. Because when you change the material, it doesn't matter if you're running or not, or if it's on a prefab. If you change a material, then you will change that. So look, I better fix that even before that goes too far. Materials. It was. Oh no, it's in the model materials. So model materials. Brown, diffuse, green. Name orange, diffuse. There it is. Yep, the rust color. I thought that shit wrong. Okay, so just diffuse. Yeah, bring it back to normal where it was working. Diffuse. I said I still have 4.5 hours to play around with all this stuff. It'll be lots of fun. So here we go. One more play. So I can amuse myself, and you can stop watching the video from here probably, because you've seen it all by now. Even my crappy little models. Yeah, that guy came good when I changed the colours on him. I just like the look of that shit with the bubbles. Simple yet effective. I think that was the idea of the whole thing. Okay, so we're getting all sorts. We're getting all sorts out there. He does seem to be coming up a lot more than the other ones, but I don't mind. He's my favourite. It can stay like that. I was even thinking about giving him 2 slots in the random because yeah, I've got an array of all the enemies. And then when it comes time to instantiate an enemy, it just draws a random number between 0 and 3. Well, now 0 and 2, now there's only 3 guys there. So yeah. See, when you've been staring at it as long as I have, you think it does need to go faster, but I think put it into the hands of someone that's never seen it before. It'll take them a few goes just to try and work their way around the controls even. Too close to the hole. There's the first one down, 98. Wave 2. Yes, alright, come on, let's get to wave 3. That's the start of wave 2. This will be fun. So what is it? There's 16 enemies in wave 2. And they are a bit faster. On the very first level, see that? If you can outrun a bullet on wave 1. And from wave 2 onwards, you cannot outrun a bullet. Especially when they're all coming towards you like that. Yeah. I do feel like it's missing the whole grid disappearing kind of thing still. I wanted to get more things on the screen at once and have you explode them and have all these holes that you had to navigate around at the same time. But it's mainly a bullet dodging fest now. What I get? There! You saw it here first. My high score. Yay! Alright. So I'll probably even post the link on my very last video when it's all signed, sealed and delivered, and I'll put a link up, and anybody that has watched any of this blog can have a play for themselves, and I'd love an opinion. I mean, as simple as it is. Just, yeah. Be interesting to find out what other people think. Alright, so, yeah. Have fun.